With September just around the corner and Apple recently confirming their September event on the 7th at 10 AM PDT, it seems like a good idea to give you an overview of what we can expect at the Apple September event. What is likely to happen and what is not. Let's get to it. So if you take a look at all of Apple's products, there doesn't seem to be any logical order. However, if you sort them in a specific way, you'll see that there definitely is some sort of logic behind all of the products. All of the product lines contain 3 different products, the quote-unquote budget option, the mid-tier, and the pro option. Looking at all of these products like this immediately explains why there are so many rumors of an iPhone Pro. It is the only product line without a Pro version. For the same reason, Apple is not likely at all to drop any of their current products, as that would require a whole different organization of their product lines. The only thing that risks being dropped is the entire iPod product line, as Apple hasn't updated any of the iPods in years, the only exception being some small and silent changes that turned the iPod Touch 5 into the iPod Touch 6. Another option would be a complete overhaul of the iPod department, which would kind of make sense if you keep in mind that this year is the 40th anniversary of Apple and they are expected to do some big things to celebrate. So what are some changes you could expect this September event? Let's start off with the MacBook line. And yes, we do note that the Apple September event isn't typically a Mac event, but rather an iPhone themed event. However, since we've been lacking any new stuff on the Mac front for almost 2 years already, this seems like the time for Apple to undertake some action, especially since they don't want to be late to their birthday with great new product refreshes, do they? And however they might wait on Intel's new line of processors that will likely ship somewhere in mid-2017, we still do expect new Macs and MacBooks anyway. The MacBook Air and MacBook Pro lines are both expected to be renewed this September. The MacBook Air 11-inch model is rumored to be discontinued and replaced with a 15-inch version. Also, it has been rumored that a 17-inch MacBook Pro will either be a new addition to the Pro family or replace the 13-inch model. Thanks to the ever-decreasing bezels on laptop screens, the 17-inch model could have the same dimension as the current 15-inch model, but with 2 inches of extra screen space replacing bezels. The MacBook is not due to a big update yet, but could get a slight boost in performance with a better Intel dual-core M5 instead of the current dual-core M3 or older version of the M5. This would result in an almost 25% increase in power per watt, with the exact same power consumption and heat generation. On the MacBook Pro front, a whole new design is expected, including an OLED touchpad instead of the regular function keys. It has also been rumored that the MacBook Pro and even the MacBook Air might include a Touch ID sensor in the near future. However, this is relatively unlikely to happen because you can do exactly that using either your Apple Watch or your iPhone thanks to Apple's continuity. A feature that has only been expanded in the upcoming macOS Sierra and iOS 10. Both Macs are likely to feature an upgrade in power and battery, however, especially the MacBook Air, which used to be the thinnest of the family but has now been beaten by the MacBook, is expected to have a huge improvement in battery life. On the desktop Mac front, the Mac Mini is due to an update, and however many people believe the least powerful of the family will be discontinued, another big group of people say it will actually stay, which would make sense when comparing it to the other product groups like the iPad group with the iPad Mini or the iPhone group with the iPhone SE. The Mac Mini is the smallest, least powerful, cheapest, and least energy-consuming Mac of all, and is thereby loved by many in home theater setups, small to medium-sized server setups, schools, and businesses. Because you can hook up all of your own peripherals to a small computer, it is easy to replace separate parts, and because of its low power consumption, you can leave it on all day long without having to worry about the environment or your energy bill. As for probable updates, we'd be looking at an upgraded processor, at least 8GB of RAM on every model and 32GB of RAM as an upgrade option instead of the current maximum of 16GB. It is however not expected that Apple is going to drop the 5400 RPM drives on the Mac Mini like it's doing with their other product lines, simply because the slower hard drives are a perfect solution for a durable home theater system or an offload drive on a server. Also, these slower drives last a lot longer, which makes them perfect for the Mac Mini's default purposes. On the Mac Pro front, this one's not due to a huge upgrade yet, and neither is the iMac. However, we could expect the non-Retina iMacs to be discontinued completely, especially since Apple only recently silently discontinued the 27-inch non-Retina iMacs. We could also expect Apple to reduce the bezel size on all of its iMacs, but we do not have any proof yet to back this rumor up. So let's talk about iPad's now. This is not really interesting business. Except for the iPad Pro that is apparently going to be updated to become the iPad Pro 2, and the iPad mini really turning into the budget model, nothing exciting is expected. And don't get too excited about the new iPads, as they are not at all likely to be released this September, but rather in the early or mid of 2017. Now what is more exciting this September are the iPhones, as the Apple September event is typically a mostly iPhone event. A small update on the iPhone SE is expected, and since the iPhone SES sounds a bit ridiculous, we do expect that the name isn't going to see any changes to it, although it might become the SE2. But there are no clear rumors at this time regarding new names or big improvements to the current iPhone SE. Probably the most rumored device of 2016 is the iPhone Pro. This would be a 5.5-inch iPhone with a dual camera, a higher resolution display, a smart connector as seen on the iPad Pro. It would also feature a bigger battery and a maximum of 256GB in storage. RAM memory could also be updated to 4 or even 6GB, whereas the iPhone 7 is rumored to get 3GB only. Speaking about the iPhone 7, it probably won't see too big of a change compared to the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. We'll likely still have both a regular and a Plus model with the exact same screen sizes as the current generation. Regarding the iPod category, we really don't know. Not too much has been rumored, and what has been said cannot be backed up by either facts or well-known Apple analysts. It would be a shame to see the iPod line go, but it could definitely happen. Don't worry too much yet though, because as we all know, Apple is known for making unexpected decisions, so we could also see a completely renewed generation of iPods, with Touch ID, better speakers, a better display, a better camera, 3D touch, a bigger battery and so on. In a couple of days we'll know for certain what will happen to the iPod line, and until then, there really is not much we can tell you about what will happen. Now for the watches, we don't expect that much new stuff either. Some small changes here and there are more than likely, but it is really not due to a big update yet, or so does the Apple community say. So what do you expect and what do you reckon will happen? Let us know in the comments or on Twitter using @ManiacCraftNL. More ways to contact us are in the description down below. And like we said, it could go a lot of different ways, but whatever it is, it will likely be something unexpected like Apple mostly does. Happy September all of you, and we hope to see your product wishes come true the 7th of this month at the Apple special event. Thank you for watching.